Welcome back to 100 Days of 6-Minute Stories. My name is Andrea Kwamya. And if you were curious, yesterday I actually did end up getting out on a run about 5 miles up and back to Hollywood Boulevard. And I was thinking when I got to the peak of my destination that if I had just gone a mere 6 miles east, I would have landed upon the location of an unexpected new LA resident. And many of you may know her, and that is Julia Kwamya, my older sister. So Julia is someone that I would say has only child syndrome. She is the firstborn child of 4, and she has always known how to be the center of attention, the life of the party, and she's always exuded that sort of persona. And I'm gonna be honest, we're friends now, we're close now, but growing up, I feel like we had personalities that were like oil and water. I was a bit more passive. I wasn't always passive, but compared to her level of energy, I definitely was. And she was very firm in her opinions and convictions and very tenacious. So if she had something that she really wanted to do, she would do it. So from an early age, she had expressed an interest in being, being an entertainer. But being an African family, it wasn't always taken very seriously, but she would always say that she was going to be a singer and perform. And growing up, my family moved a lot, and by the time that we landed in New York, we were in all of the normal activities that most suburban kids are put in, like ballet, and my twin sister was in gymnastics, and I had decided that I wanted to take piano lessons. So I started violin late, around 10 or 11. I also started piano earlier than that, but still considered late, around 7 or 8 years old. And I was, if you remember this story about how I fall asleep easily, I was taking lessons with my older brother's cello teacher on the nights where she had off. And they were a shorter lesson because I was young, and there would be days where I was so tired because the lessons were at nighttime. But as long as I was engaged from beginning to end, I was usually okay powering through them, and I loved piano. It was one of my favorite things to do. And then my older sister, being, as I said, extremely tenacious and driven, and when she decides she wants to do something, she's gonna do it, decided after I started taking piano lessons that she also wanted to take piano lessons. Now, having a family with 4 young kids, where 2 are twins, and you just moved to a new state, I can imagine was expensive. My parents were not much older than I am now, and they wanted to make sure that we could have every experience that we were hoping for. But in order to save money, they made a concession with Julia that if she was really interested, that she should first take a few lessons and see if she would stick with them. So they decided to split my lessons in half with her. So granted, I was not very happy about this, but I was in 1st grade, so what can I do? Like, I'm not in charge of paying anybody or scheduling practices. So as time went on, in the beginning it was an even split. But over time, I had noticed that this lesson would start with her, and if you're a musician, you know how it is. Like, it's not easy to stop a lesson at half an hour. So the lessons would go over, and me being young and the nights being late, I would start to fall asleep and then I wouldn't end up having my piano lesson. So eventually, a decision which I don't have many regrets, but I do regret quitting piano, but I decided to leave piano lessons. And she did as well, which is very frustrating, but I decided not to go to piano lessons anymore because I wasn't getting anything out of something where I wasn't even awake for. So that said, a few years later I moved on to violin, and it was a very enriching and productive experience for me. And my older sister went on to university. She studied Spanish and economics, and even though she didn't finish piano, the irony of all of this is that she, of all of our siblings, actually ended up being the one to follow her dreams. She is now the professional musician, and makes her own music, and it just is a testament to that tenacious power of only child syndrome adults that will not take no for an answer. So it really bothered me when I was a kid, but I hope that me sharing my lessons in some small way helped contribute to her success. So shameless plug, check out her music. It's really amazing. I'm one of her biggest fans, and don't be mad at me for spilling the tea. Bye.